This week's furniture makeover is a vintage Lane cedar chest. These are pretty easy to find in my area, and they're not typically great sellers, so they give me an opportunity to get creative and have some fun. This piece is from the 1960s. It did sit on my patio for a little bit this summer, and that actually helped me remove the finish because the finish was very dry, flaky, and already coming off. I was able to remove it very easily with my orbital sander. I started with 120 grit sandpaper, and then I went over that with 180 once I was finished. There were only a few minor scratches and dents, nothing major that had to be fixed on this piece. When I'm using my orbital sander, I check my sandpaper a lot to make sure that it's not getting an accumulation of finish on it. If I do see that they're starting to get a light buildup, I'll just take an extra piece of sandpaper and rub the sandpaper across the buildup, and that removes it nice and quick and easy. See, just like that, kind of gives you a fresh new finish to work with. For pieces with curves, what I'll do is I'll take off my sandpaper and I'll use this foam pad that you put between the sander and the sandpaper. This allows the sandpaper to form to the piece of furniture that you're sanding and remove the old finish from the curves without damaging the wood or needing other special attachments. These are available on most local hardware stores and also with the Amazon link in my profile. I use the sander with a foam pad attachment to sand the curvy base and the trim around the front. I decided not to sand the inside of these fake drawers, but rather what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some pole wrap to fill it in and give it a new look. So this is bamboo pole wrap, and I have cut it down to the size of each of these fake drawers, and then I'm using my Titebond glue and a chip brush to spread a thin layer of glue. You want to make sure you get a nice even thin layer so all of the bamboo will stick, but you don't want to use too much or it will bubble up through the individual strips and it's really difficult to clean off. So once I have it nice and smooth, then I'm coming over with my pin nail and securing it down with little pin nails. This is a cute, fun way to give a piece of furniture a new look. Another thing that I like to use is paintable textured wallpaper, and I'll put a link to a video showing you a cedar chest I did with that product at the end of this video. Now this does have kind of a netting holding all the pieces together, so what I'll do is I'll just run a piece of sandpaper over the edges and the back of it before I put it onto the cedar chest. That way I make sure that there's no strings that will be hanging out when I have it in place. You probably could get by without using the pin nailer, but what you would want to do is you would want to put something heavy to hold the pole wrap in place overnight while that glue dries. And it's already looking like a completely new piece of furniture, and I could have stopped at this point, but I wanted to get a little bit creative with this piece, and I had a client who was looking for something for their grandmother for Christmas. So they asked me to refinish this in a very soft, neutral wood tone, and then to get creative using either flowers, florals, or greenery to add some design to it. So what I'm doing is I'm using a gel stain by Dixie Belle. I actually think of this as a very watery paint more than a gel stain because it goes on nice and thin. It allows the wood grain to still show through, but it really doesn't act like a true stain. I use a foam brush to put it on, and I always make sure to mist the furniture before I start applying it. It gives me a little bit more work time, and I do keep a rag handy in case there's any extra that I need to remove. Just want to take a moment to say thank you to all my subscribers. I really appreciate you watching my videos, leaving comments, and giving me suggestions on how I can refinish furniture better in the future. If you're new to my channel, my name is Carmen. I am a part-time furniture refinisher, a lifelong higher ed professional who in her 50s decided she wanted to do something a little bit different and started refinishing furniture and posting the process on social media. I would love for you to follow and support my small business. Now it's time to apply the product to the front. I'm going to use the same exact technique to apply it to both the chest and the bamboo pole wrap. Get a nice misting of water, and then I'm applying the product directly to my foam brush and then brushing it on. You want to make sure that you get plenty of the product on the brush. I didn't quite get enough that first time, and you could see it wasn't going on smoothly. And actually, it probably would have been better to use a foam brush for the trim and then a chip brush for the pole wrap to make sure that I could get it easily in all of the little creases. But I made the foam brush work. There's always a point in every project that I doubt myself, and this was it.
I think it was colored. You don't like it, huh?
No, that's good.
I spent all these hours stripping it and now putting a color on it I'm not even sure I like.
Yeah, that's good. You want to eat?
Thankfully, my hubby convinced me it was looking good, so I took a lunch break and let it dry. Now moving on to the second part of the design. They wanted it to be floral inspired, so I asked my client what they thought about succulents, and they gave me a big thumbs up. So I'm going to use resin to create some succulents that then hopefully I can paint to look like real succulents that you would find in nature. I'm using a 2-part quick setting resin that I picked up off of Amazon. I think you can also get it at Michael's. I'll have the link on my Amazon storefront for you. I think it was about $20 after the Michael's coupon is what I paid for it. You just get 2 equal parts of A and B, then you mix them together in a 3rd container. You want to have as equal parts as possible to make sure it works. And when you first start mixing it, it's going to look cloudy. You can see how it gets a little cloudy, and then it will get clear again. Once it's clear again, that tells you that it is fully mixed and it's ready to pour into the mold, and you need to move fairly quickly. So I'm using this mold. I also picked this up on Amazon, and we'll share the link. You just want to pour the product in really slow, give it time to settle into all the little areas of the design, and be careful not to overflow. You don't want to, first of all, you don't want to waste it, and secondly, you want to have a nice, flat, solid back to your piece when you're done. I use these little sticks to kind of guide some of the resin into the outside petals here. And then I just keep filling in the other designs. This one has 3 different succulents, 2 large, a small one, and then it has those individual petals that I think are going to look really pretty once they're done. Once you've got everything in place, it starts to dry immediately. It'll turn from clear to white and should be completely set in 10 minutes. So I'm going to speed up the film so you can watch it dry and set. In addition to the color changing to white, I also can tell when it's done by tapping the little wooden stick on it, and you'll hear it makes a very sharp sound that tells you it's nice and hard and ready to come out of the mold. If I was careful with my measurements, now it should just pop out in one nice piece. You can see how as I bend the mold, it's just coming out nice and solid. If it's a little sticky or stretchy on the edges, just leave it in for a minute or two more. If any of the resin overflowed the mold while it's still setting, that's really easy to remove. I just kind of pinched it off, but you can also do it with a pair of scissors. And so I just repeated that process many times, and now we're ready to start painting. I'm using mostly Dixie Belle chalk paint for this process, and what I did is I took a soft blue and I added a little bit of a grayish green to it to kind of get that silvery green color that you see in succulents. And then I'm just going to paint that on with the little paintbrush and get every surface colored, every surface covered with my base color of paint. Little hack here, use a toothpick to hold it in place and keep it from moving while you're painting, and it also keeps your fingers a little bit cleaner. Okay, once we've got the base coat on, I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll start coming in with some other colors to make it look realistic. So I've got now my light blue with a little bit of purple in it, and so what I'm doing is I'm coming from the center of each leaf to give it some dimension. And I'll do that on all of the leaves. I'm going to do each one a little bit different. For this one, I got kind of this coppery brown, and I outlined the leaves and focused on the edges of it to make it look a little bit sun-stressed. And then I finished it off by adding a little bit of the very light blue just at the inner part of each leaf where it would be coming out from the flower. Once again, just to add a little bit more depth and dimension and make it more realistic. At least I hope it looks realistic. I think it looks pretty good considering that I really have never had any training in painting, and I'm kind of just making this up as I go. For these cute little ones, I just did shades of green. My green was a little bit old and watery, so I just kept layering it until I got the color that I wanted. And I didn't add any other colors to these other than just green, focusing on making sure I had some variation in the color to make them look natural. I also made some of the succulents by only filling the molds half full, which gave me a smaller size of the two larger succulents that I had. And here is where I'm painting one of them, once again using that kind of silvery blue that you see in nature. And then I'm going in with little bits of purple, white, pink, and coral to kind of give it some texture, some depth, and hopefully make it look like a real succulent. After lots and lots of painting resin succulents, I was finally ready to apply these to the cedar chest and see how they looked. I put the chest on its back so that I could arrange the succulents in a couple different patterns and designs before I found one that I liked. I decided to go with a grouping in the bottom corner, a grouping coming out of the middle, and then a grouping in the upper right corner as well. So it's just a lot of trial and error till I thought they looked good. I'm going to use a combination of glue and pin nails to hold them in place. The hardest part is I don't want them to all be flat, so I am going to kind of layer the groupings so they'll look more realistic like they would grow in nature. Now, I didn't bother warming them up to bend them, but if you are working with resin flowers like this and you want to have them like fold over something or have the petals stand up, you could use a heat gun or probably even a blow dryer to soften the resin a little bit and then fold them. Or immediately when you take them out of the mold, you could kind of shape them the way that you want them to be, hold them in place and let them dry like that. So for each one, I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the bottom of it where it's going to come in contact with the chest. And then once I have that in place, I'm using my pin nailer to secure it in place. I gently went over my gel stain with a 400 grit sandpaper anywhere that I felt like it was a little bit heavy or a little bit splotchy. So I just did a little bit of a touch up, and then once I had the gel stain looking the way I wanted it to, thought everything looked great, then I finished off the project by applying several coats of polyacrylic in a matte finish. I also removed the broken shelf from the inside, and then I took the locking mechanism apart and took the locking piece out of it. This makes it compliant so I can sell it. These have been recalled due to children getting locked in them in the past. I also think Lane did a fantastic job of marketing in the 60s and 70s, because almost every one of these cedar chests that I find still has all of the labels and the tags and the receipts in it, telling me that the Lane company made people really proud of the product that they were buying. So here's the little cedar chest that we started with, and here's what it looks like now. Now, I know this is not going to be for everybody, but I had a client that wanted a light neutral wood finish with a plant-inspired design, and I think I delivered on that beautifully. I'm really curious what you think, so please make sure and leave me comments. And this chest is from 1960s, and I'm excited now because it is going to have a whole new life for many more years to come. So yes, please let me know what you think of my succulent design. And if you try it, make sure and share your results with me. I am Carmen, and my channel is Painted and Planted by Carmen. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing my next furniture makeover with you.